About 7 years ago, I had a pediatric case come into my clinic. It was a child who had a fever and the parents were concerned because the child's behavior was off and they weren't sure what to do. When we talk about fevers, and I'll come back to the case in a second, typically what a lot of people are aware of, oh my goodness, if the fever gets to be 104, we have to medicate or treat the fever. The problem with treating a fever is that is the innate wisdom that God designed in the body to be able to begin to deal with whatever the problem is as far as why the body is beginning to express symptoms, which is what we call an illness. So you get to a fever 104, the conventional thought is you need to give Tylenol and alternate with ibuprofen. That's usually what the prescription is. The problem with that is both of those are what's called an antipyretic, which means we drop the fever. When you drop the fever, we reduce the symptoms of illness. However, the body in its intelligent design tries to get the fever to come back higher. It's called a rebound fever. Why is the body doing that? It's because we're shutting down the furnace and then we're saying, hey, wait a minute, we still have a problem. So the body goes, oh, we better get the furnace back up because the furnace is broken. Something's wrong with the thermostat. And it's not the thermostat that's the problem. It's our interfering of the fever that is the problem. And I looked at the parents and I said, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna use homeopathy, hydrotherapy, and some herbs in the clinic right now, and I'm gonna treat your child. If this child does not improve, this child is going to the ER. The fever of that child was about 100 degrees, and the child was not behaving in a way that you would expect with a fever of 100. They were awake, they could answer some questions, but that was about it. By the time we got done 45 minutes later with the hydrotherapy, homeopathy, and botanical medicine, the child was up in my office playing with toys, which the parent had not seen in several days. So the number is not the problem with a fever, it's the behavior. And we only want to intervene in a fever when there's a significant issue, but at the time that has happened, we're usually on the way to the hospital.